closed. So just be easy around the northbound clear-through ramp off the westbound LIE. And we are delayed back into Long Island from back at Little Neck Parkway. So we've got alternating traffic on the northern state away from the LIE as well. Cross Bronx, eastbound near the Deegan, you disabled. The left lane is blocked as we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. 50 for the George inbound upper, 35 for the inbound George lower, and 15 from the Palisades Bridge to the inbound GW Bridge. We're sponsored by Downtown Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Karen Stewart, 1010
So very rainy day in New York City.
Hey, healthcare workers of New York, are you looking to make a difference? Downtown Brooklyn Nursing and Rehabilitation Center is actively hiring nurses and CNAs. Call 718-636-1000. That's 718-636-1000.
The war in Iran is going very well, says President Trump, and the U.S. is only just getting started, even as Iran continues to strike back at American allies and military sites in the Middle East. The Pentagon has released a video of an Iranian warship being blown up by an American submarine.
For the first time since World War II, the U.S. Navy sinking an enemy ship with a torpedo fired from a fast attack submarine. Video from the periscope of that American sub showing the massive explosion before the Iranian warship with 180 people on board sank to the bottom of the Indian Ocean. The torpedo attack happened off the coast of Sri Lanka. Authorities there recovering dozens of bodies, saying only 34 people were rescued.
Correspondent Ian Pannell, although President Trump claims the U.S. now controls the sea off Iran, shipping through the Strait of Hormuz continues to be paralyzed, choking off the world's supply of oil and gas from the Middle East. The president has pledged naval escorts for tankers, but a spokesman for the Navy says not yet, because first they're focused on disarming the Iranian regime. Now, back here at home, the House will vote on a war powers resolution today. It's similar to a measure blocked yesterday by Republicans in the Senate, one that would have required President Trump to get the approval of Congress before the assault could continue.
The vote fell nearly along party lines.
Yeas are 47, the nays are 53.
Kentucky Republican Rand Paul voted yes. Pennsylvania Democrat John Fetterman voted no on a motion advancing a measure directing the president to remove U.S. forces from hostilities against Iran. It was sponsored by Virginia Democrat Tim Kaine.
I'm asking the Senate to do what the framers of the Constitution said we should do, debate and vote about matters of war.
Opponents argue the president has made his case for the strikes and doesn't need congressional authorization. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon has now identified the last 2 of the 6 U.S. Army reservists killed in a retaliatory drone strike on a U.S. command center in Kuwait. Major Jeffrey O'Brien was 45 years old and from Iowa. Chief Warrant Officer Robert Marzan was 54 years old and from Sacramento, California. Another 18 service members were wounded in the strike. The soldiers were assigned to the 103rd Sustained Command, an Army Reserve unit based in Des Moines. Well, there were air raid sirens again today in Israel, which was hit with more Iranian retaliatory strikes. Thousands of Americans have been stranded for days in Israel and other parts of the Middle East after they were caught off guard by the attack on Iran and the subsequent closing of airspace around the region.
There are no commercial flights here. It's one of the reasons Americans are struggling to get out, not just from Israel, but from other Gulf states, 14 states, trying to get some help from the State Department. We've learned the U.S. military is even putting C-17s into the region to try to coordinate a little bit of help for Americans that want to get away from this region, because the Iranians aren't just targeting military bases and government buildings, etc., etc. They're going after commercial districts and high-rises and resorts.
Correspondent Charlie Daggett in Tel Aviv. The Trump administration has been harshly criticized for not having a plan in place to evacuate Americans before attacking Iran. The State Department says a charter flight for U.S. citizens stuck in the Middle East is now headed back home. A teenager is dead after gun violence in the Bronx yesterday afternoon right near a daycare. Officers responding to a call for help found 19-year-old Lamar Simmons with a fatal chest wound right near East 183rd Street and Hughes Avenue in the Belmont section. Witnesses say 3 men fled the scene on a scooter after the shots were fired, but no arrests yet. No one at the daycare was hurt, but parents found the area surrounded by crime scene tape when they went to pick up their children. An update to a story we told you about yesterday here on 1010 Wins. The man who was targeted in a vicious anti-Semitic attack on a Brooklyn subway train is now sharing his story.
Jeremy Garrett had just gotten on the N train Monday morning at the Atlantic Avenue station.
And before the door closed, a man just ran on and just started beating me, completely beating me. I mean, it completely caught me off guard. He was yelling, effing Jew.
Garrett took several blows to the face.
Yeah, I got hit several times, like temple, the brow, both sides of the jaw.
He was treated at a local hospital and is nursing a big black eye.
Maybe the mayor will hear this and, actually come out and strongly condemn this sort of behavior. This is horrible, and do something about it.
Marla Diamond, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, the union representing tens of thousands of New York City apartment building workers is heading to the bargaining table today in hopes of avoiding a strike.
Local 32BJ representing some 34,000 apartment workers and include door persons, porters, building superintendents. Their contract expires April 20th.
Inflation has been 18%, and the buying power of every paycheck has gone down. So there's going to be some tough issues, but obviously pay is going to be front and center. And I would also say that ensuring that we continue to have high quality health care will be number two.
Union President Manny Pastrich checking in with 1010 wins. Now we asked him, is a strike a possibility?
We're going to enter negotiations hopeful and confident, but we have already begun. We have over 1,000 strike captains across the city. And so we are getting ready in the building for that scenario.
We'll be monitoring the negotiations closely. Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins, 92.3 FM.
New Yorkers fed up with sky-high utility bills are taking their message straight to the doorstep of Con Edison today. Activists and residents will rally outside the utility's headquarters, urging city leaders to back the gas-free NYC program, which would phase out oil and gas heating systems with electric heat pumps by the year 2030, low-income homes in particular. Eric Weltman of Food and Water Watch says that wouldn't only lower energy bills, but also cut pollution.
Air quality problems are a leading contributor to asthma and other health concerns. So it's an investment in our homes, it's an investment in our communities, in public health, in creating good union jobs, installing these modern, efficient heat pumps.
That rally set for 12 o'clock this afternoon. An update now in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, and it's another dead end. Authorities in Arizona say DNA from a pair of black gloves found near her home were traced back to a local restaurant worker who has no connection to the case. Those gloves look very similar to those worn by the suspect seen in Guthrie's doorbell cam video, but evidently were not a match. They're still analyzing DNA from other evidence, which the Pima County Sheriff says he's hopeful will lead to a name. Now this message, discover Hild Group, insurance, benefits, and HR solutions. Learn more at hildgroup.com. Well, 41 degrees right now and raining in Midtown. We'll get to traffic and the full AccuWeather forecast next.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time,
tough for traveling across the area. The overnight low 37 tomorrow. Just some drizzle around, mainly in the morning, but it stays cloudy. The high 42. Another cloudy day on Saturday. The high gets to 49. Finally, some sun breaks through later Sunday, and with it, we warm to the low 60s. Rain and 41 in Central Park. Humidity 96%. The wind east-northeast at 5. Repeating our current temperature, it's 41. We'll drop a bit more this morning, then gets to 40 this afternoon in Midtown. I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
Well, New Yorkers might be able to sip and stroll during the World Cup. A bill called the Host Act is being introduced in Albany. It would temporarily allow outdoor drinking in designated entertainment zones while the event is going on. Manhattan Assemblyman Tony Simone is sponsoring the bill, and he tells 1010 Winds.
We shouldn't be left out of this game. We should be in this. We're a world-class city. We can handle this. We can do this quickly. We've done big things before. It simply makes sure small business is part of the life.
He says the measure is modeled on legislation that's already been signed into law in Washington state. Local leaders will be able to apply to turn their corner, street, or block into areas where people can buy drinks from bars and walk around with them. New York and New Jersey will host 8 World Cup matches at MetLife Stadium this summer, including the final. Well, if you've ever been told you look like Bad Bunny, your moment is here. Listen to Nueva York, a Bad Bunny lookalike contest is coming to the Bronx next week. The competition to be held.
heading to LaGuardia Airport. It's right side on the street. Very rainy day, and it's gonna be all day raining in New York City. It's Thursday, March. The other side, people are coming from Manhattan. We're heading towards westbound towards Manhattan. We're center of the LaGuardia Airport.
Seniors and recent graduates that specialize in building executive function and prepare students for the transition to college. Students will live in residence halls, attend classes, and take part in fun activities with new friends they'll make on landmarks.
Rain is coming heavily down.
Good morning. We have 41 degrees outside at 8:20 on this Thursday, March 5th. I'm Donna Vaughn, and here's what's happening. Air raid sirens in Israel this morning as Iran launched a new wave of missiles, and Senate Republicans have blocked a war powers motion that could have put the conflict on hold. A city council hearing today to probe just how much the NYPD and Department of Corrections have cooperated with ICE, and if they violated New York's sanctuary city laws. The rent is too darn high. That'll be the